helping you live an ordinary life in an extraordinary way. This is Your Health with Dr. Burgundy Collins. And now, here is your host, Dr. Burgundy Collins.
Hi, this is Dr. Burgundy Collins, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of This Is Your Health, a health and wellness show about living an extraordinary life in a very ordinary way. I'm a chiropractor, and I practice at Advanced Health Center in Arlington, Virginia. And on today's show, we are going to be talking about working within your passion. And today, to help shed some light on this topic, I have Dr. Crystal Jones. Dr. Crystal is a chiropractor who currently practices in Brooklyn, New York, and Atlanta, Georgia. She is a lover of the human soul. Her mission is to love humanity back to life through her hands, one beautiful soul at a time. Hi, Dr. Crystal. So glad to have you on today.
Glad to be here. It's an honor.
Okay, let me tell the listeners a little bit more about you, Dr. Crystal. Dr. Crystal firmly believes that the vast majority of subluxations, which is interference to the nervous system, begin in the spiritual realm, manifest emotionally, and create biochemical imbalances that create physical disease. Her clients have experienced restored sight, speech, hearing, spiritual and emotional breakthroughs, and resolved medical diseases such as COPD, asthma, learning disabilities, complete recovery from drug use, and chronic pain, as she has facilitated 100% expression of the soul, mind, spirit, and body. So she is a perfect individual to talk with us about working within your passion, because it sounds like, Dr. Crystal, you are definitely doing those very things. So can you explain to us what working within your passion means to you?
Working within your passion to me, is living your life like it's a vacation. It's waking up every day and loving what it is that you do from the core of your soul. It's a culmination of all of the events of your life that turn you into who you are right now. It is walking around and radiating joy and attracting people that want whatever it is that you do, no matter what it is. Many people that come to me have no idea what it is that I do, but they say, whatever it is, I want that. That's working in your passion. It's showing up and being amazing, whether that's in the U.S. or outside of the U.S. or at a concert. It's just living your life on purpose within mission and vision and not apologizing for any of your amazingness.
So that sounds great. What are the benefits of somebody working within their passion as opposed to someone who does not?
There are so many benefits. Mental stability. You don't wake up and work a 9 to 5 and serve money. You're serving the greater purpose of your life, which means that you no longer feel like a slave, or you're not waiting to clock out at 5 o'clock or clock out at 7 o'clock, or waiting for holidays. You're not waiting for Friday. You're waking up every day and, like I said before, enjoying what you do. It's pure joy. I don't really even know how to put into words the joy that I do have, which the tagline of my company is Feed Your Joy, and that's why I even do what I do. I can't even put into words the amazing feeling that you do have by just choosing to work every day. Everybody doesn't choose to work. Some people have to work to pay your bills or whatever, but it's understanding life from I want to say a different level of consciousness, where you're not serving a low level of I need money. You're serving the greater good of humanity. And working in passion and understanding what your passion is and what your purpose is gives you reason to keep going, and it attracts the money, it attracts the energy, it attracts the wealth, it attracts whatever you need, because that's just how it has to work. You're open to receive those things when you're working in passion, rather than not working in passion and receiving only a paycheck, because that's what you go to work for. If you go to work for a paycheck, that's exactly what you're going to get, not necessarily fulfillment. It's going to end when you clock out.
So how does one work within their passion? Say they work a job that they hate, they kind of just find themselves working someplace, it's not really something they particularly planned for. Maybe circumstances happen, they weren't able to, as of yet, get the job or the career that they want. They just kind of find themselves just stuck in just a job just to pay the bills. How does that person get a sense of working within their passion if they're not working in something that they're passionate about?
I can really only give my experience with it because I did work a job, a corporate job, and I actually started out working in my passion by working my job Monday through Friday and then being a wellness consultant, going to school to be a wellness consultant Friday night through Monday morning. And you have to have this drive to do something better. And that was really, really hard. I was living in 2 different states. But I knew that I needed to get out of where I was because I was just doing it for the money. Mm-hmm. And so I did that. And then I knew that there needed to be something more. So I went to school. And that's when I developed, understanding what my passion was. But to actually live in your passion requires you to basically cliff dive, jump off the cliff and understand that you're either going to make it to the other side or you're going to have great security and you're not going to die. Mm-hmm. That's the greatest way of making that happen. You just have to take that plunge because working full-time within passion or living within your passion, which is what I'd rather call it, is a full-time job. But it's not always easy. You have to create your way. Even though you wake up and do what you love, you have to get rid of all of the notions of what's right and what's wrong. You have to create what's right and what's wrong for yourself and go with it. I tell a lot of the development clients that I do have, the core of how this even works is understanding what is your vision, what is the greater purpose, like what do you see with your eyes closed that is not even there? What is your mission? What are you doing every day to make your purpose, which is why you're here? What are you doing every day to make that happen? Mm-hmm. And that can't be based on a career. And I even tell the chiropractic students, not that I wanted to, but what happens if chiropractic is no longer here anymore? You have to have a mission, a vision, and a purpose that is greater than any career. You have to have all of that is greater than yourself. You have to set goals that have nothing to do with you. Your goals can't be house, car, certain amount of income. That comes with the territory. So working within passion is all about trusting the process and, once again, being unapologetic for the core that you've developed and understood as why you're here.
I agree. You're definitely saying things that are resonating with me because, as a chiropractor, a doctor of chiropractic, this is not my first career. This is actually my second career. My first career was radio broadcasting. So I think we all get to a point where we sometimes feel like a particular job or situation no longer serves us. And the question is, do you stay in that job and you're miserable and, like you said, you're just doing it for a paycheck? Or do you make that sacrifice like you were just talking about and take that plunge and take steps in order to but to definitely change the course of your life so that you are living with that passion? How does one find that bravery, find that courage, get beyond the fear? You did it. You also mentioned that, corporate, the corporate life was your prior life, and, you just heard what I had to say about, my previous career. So how does one, get beyond the fear, the apprehension, the negative thoughts that perhaps, it's not worth it, they should just stay in the job that's passionless for them? How does one get beyond that fear?
I'm not even 100% sure that anybody ever gets beyond the fear. I think what you do is you look at fear a different way. Instead of letting fear stop you, instead of letting fear stop me, I let fear drive me. Mm-hmm. And it's not always the best way, not at all. But if I see fear, I just do it anyway, and I don't think of it. I don't give myself time to question myself because I know innately that God is speaking through me and that I need to do that. The fear is just silly. We do have that same background of this not being our first. And that also helped me as well because, starting off as a nutritionist and thinking that was the end-all, be-all, and then being a wellness consultant and thinking that was the end-all, be-all, like this is where I'm at in life and this is what it's going to be forever, that understanding eventually that it wasn't the end all be all made me take chiropractic more as a tool rather than my life.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much more to it. And so that also plays in a part of, this being scary every single day, but I have so many tools in my belt. When I meet somebody, it could be for consulting, or it could be for chiropractic, or reflexology, or energy work. It could be any of those things, and I just go with it. And like I said, I don't think that the fear ever leaves. I think fear is what keeps me going. If I'm not scared, I'm complacent. If I'm complacent, I think there's something wrong. And maybe that's because I've done so many things in my life, and I need constant change. I need the thrill. I need to consistently challenge myself, because I believe truth is evolutionary. And since truth is evolutionary, I got to feel that fear, and I have to go anyway to continue on in that process, or I'll just perish. People are waiting. People are holding on to the fact, they're holding on to me facing fear and going with it anyway. So I have to do it for them, and sometimes I don't want to do it for myself. But I don't think the idea of fear ever leaves.
Yeah, I like the idea of how you use fear. I also use fear. I always tell myself that if I'm afraid to do something, then I have to do it. I have to do it, because I'm telling myself that if I decide to not do something strictly because I'm afraid of it, then it makes me a punk. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sucker. I need to just go ahead and do it and see what I can do. And either it works or it doesn't, and you could just gain so much from just going beyond the fear. Even something as basic as I'm afraid to ride this roller coaster. Hop on a roller coaster. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, the worst thing can happen is it can malfunction and the car can go flying through the air and you die. But short of that, that rarely happens. And more than likely, 90 times out of 100, the ride is going to be fine. You're going to have a great time. You're going to survive it. So, yeah, I love that. You have to use fear. I think people sometimes think that the successful people, whatever people consider to be success in our society, is money and position and material things. But people look at those people and assume that somehow they're never afraid. They don't get stage fright. People like Beyonce and performers, they don't get stage fright. They don't get nervous. These people get nervous. They get stage fright. They just, like you said, they just go beyond it.
She just does it anyway.
That girlfriend had to make alter ego just to get through her show. So that tells you a lot. If she's Beyonce's one of the greatest performers, in my lifetime, our generation anyway. I'm not even I'm not part of her beehive. I'm just saying Beyonce is one of the best. And if she could admit to being nervous and having to do what she has to do in order to put on the bombshell and live in her purpose and in her passion, then we should be able to do that too.
That's an important point. I was actually talking with a client last night, and I told her that there are a lot of people that we think are supposed to be great. For instance, you said Beyonce, Oprah, all these people. If we look at it inferior, superior, use that mindset, we'll think that those people are supposed to be great and that we're supposed to just look up to them when they're no different.
Yeah, be mediocre.
They are no different. They just aren't. The only difference is that they're not scared to fail.
Mm-hmm.
You fail. There's been so many things that have not worked. We just don't see it when it comes to Beyonce, or we don't see it when it comes to Oprah. What we see is the product.
Yeah, the finished product.
Mm-hmm. And, I think successful people are no longer scared of the process, and we know that before any great thing, there has to be a birthing process, and people have to be let go from you. You have to let go of a lot of things. You have to associate yourself with certain people. You're going to have to cry and pray and pray and cry and think that nothing's going to work, and then it works. But that is just a process, and I think that every person that has defined what success is to them and is stuck to it is that's what we see as successful. There's just no apology for it. Beyonce does not apologize for being amazing.
No, but she shouldn't. Yep.
She shouldn't. And there's no reason. Nobody is superior and nobody's inferior to anyone. There are just people who are complacent with not having to think for themselves outside of the box. They like things being creative for them.
Easy.
They like being in positions where they're told what to do, and that's fine. But they have to understand that innately they're no different. They just made the choice to be told what to do rather than make their own rules. You make a choice every day.
You're listening to This Is Your Health with Dr. Burgundy Collins.